All right, it's looking like day 2 has wrapped up of the Diddy trial. Now we gonna tap in with my girl Tisa Tells. She was actually in the courtroom. We gotta get it directly from her or somebody from directly inside the courtroom because at this point this is a federal case and there's no cameras allowed inside, no videos allowed. So we gonna tap into my girl Tisa Tells. Go over to her page, like, comment, subscribe on her page. Tell her I sent you. It's your boy, What's Up G, back with another banger. Let's get into this, y'all. This is messy. It's messy.
This thing is, y'all, Diddy tried to ban Cassie's husband from the courtroom. I repeat, he tried to get Cassie's husband banned from the courtroom while she
Diddy
was
up to his
testifying.
old tricks.
Now listen, they discuss so much. I had the jury makeup. I'm live in trial, but I'm telling you guys the stuff that CNN, TMZ, and all these people can't tell you. Probably because I got out the courtroom first. So what actually happened? Y'all, it was actually really incredible. It's raining too, so I have my umbrella. It's actually really incredible, okay? So they ended with Philip. He was Cassie's friend, that slash freak all person, and he ended his testimony. Now, it was really, really good because they had Xavier actually cross-examine him. That's the other, there's only 2 black lawyers on Diddy's team. This was a man. He was actually really, really good. He knows procedure, and he's really, really good with objections, okay? So he came in and he like literally was going in on Philip, saying, didn't you say you were jealous? Didn't you say you were in love with Cassie? Didn't you say Diddy never directed y'all? And he was like, the guy was like, incorrect. And he was like, let me direct your attention. And he brought up an interview he had did with the federal prosecutors in December 2023 and also May of 2024 and October 2024. I said, oh my God, did they just get this man on perjury? But get this, Philip, that's the witness, baby, he had was large. And, oh, I want to see the fit check. I'm still in my Hillary big stuff, but you know, it's raining in New York. So anyway, Philip, I'm going to get to how Diddy tried to get Cassie's husband banned. It was such a tense standoff, okay? So Philip was like, I never said that. I don't remember saying that. And he was like, oh, you didn't? Let me refresh your memory. And he showed him like his old, I guess, statements he had made to the feds. So it looked like, oh my God. And I kept wondering, why isn't the prosecution going in being like, Your Honor, we object. Your Honor, we object. This didn't happen. But anyway, prosecution just let that slide. So after Xavier was done hammering Philip on the witness stand, they said, Your Honor, can we redirect? And he said, go ahead. They started redirecting and they were like, did you read these statements that you gave the feds? And he was like, no, I didn't. They said, did anybody give it to you to review? He said, no, I didn't. Why is that important? Because whenever somebody gives you, you make statements and they're going to use it in court, they should always let you review the statements, because you could say like, yo, I wasn't really that hungry. And then they write down, oh, he had already eaten. You need to review the statements so you can be like, no. I didn't eat, but I also wasn't hungry. It needs to be exact. He said he never. How was that? Oh,
I mean, I think so all the time. This is Audra.
oh, hi, how are you? How are you? Good to see you too. Sorry, I'm on live. Mercy be good.
Yeah, we ain't here for that.
So
Come
then,
on.
right. So anyway, we were like, okay, so sorry guys. So anyway, the prosecution got back up and they're like, did you read it? And he was like, no, I did not, ma'am. And he was like, did he direct you? Absolutely. How did he direct you? He would tell Cassie, give me sloppy toppy. He would tell us how to rub baby oil on each other. It was really, really embarrassing for Diddy's team because, again, Philip, just like the head of security, super strong witness. Super strong witness. Okay, I'm going to go in more detail on live later on tonight, but I want to get to the Diddy stuff before I have to go back in. Okay, so what else happened, okay? Diddy being, something wrong with that man, right? He literally stood up in court, right? He stood up in court. Hey, Allie, welcome to the Tattletales family. Thank you for becoming a member. I'll take questions in a second. I've had time. I'm just trying to get this out before I have to go back into court, okay? We are live from the courthouse. I kind of wanted this, but it's raining, so whatever. Hi, sir. So, we were like, listen. Deborah, I was about to ask, like, what are they serving in the cafeteria? What's going on? Okay, so Where were we? Oh yeah, that's right, talking trash. So anyway, let me get my notebook out because I took notes on this. Actually, I don't need my notebook. I'm gonna give y'all my memory. I'll go into notes later on. So all of a sudden, they said, okay, so Cassie's the next person to take the stand. Now we heard this because the attorneys had a sidebar, right? I could hear them talking. Cassie was about to take the stand. And at the last minute, Diddy's trifling team was like, honestly, Your Honor, Tinny Garrigo stood up. Your Honor, honestly, I really don't know. No, they said, we want to invoke, it was rule, I don't know, let's just say it's rule 16. I forget the name of the rule. But they were like, yo, we want to invoke the rule. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's the rule about like whenever there is testimony, you can actually exclude people from court from watching it. And they were like, he was like, what's the basis? They literally said that Alex Fine, they have a bunch of text messages that Alex Fine had sent Diddy back in 2018, basically saying, you MFer, I'm going to F you up if I ever catch you on the street. That's your ASS. He literally was cursing Diddy out. Hey, what's up, Slowrilla? Oh, thank you. You said, love the commentary and personality. Thank you, Slowrilla. Anyway, they said they had text messages from Alex back in 2018 talking about something, oh, I'm going to F you up. I'm going to do this. I better never catch you outside. How about that? And I said, I mean, that's fair enough. He did rescue his wife from being sex trafficked and helped her get sober, held her down. And I'm sure she'd been crying in his man's arms every night about the way Diddy actually treated her, right? So anyway, they said they had messages from Alex back in 2018 saying, MFer, I will break your face open. I will murk you. Like, Alex was on a roll. He was in the trial also. And while Cassie was testifying, we'll get to that, okay? So he was like saying that. And they were like, because of that, he threatened the client's life. And we don't think that he should be in the courtroom. And then they had the nerve to say, they were talking to the judge, right? And this is why y'all gotta tune in live while I'm in the courtroom, because half of the court reporters had already left. I was just being nosy, listening to the sidebar, okay? So they were like, and Diddy just doesn't feel comfortable with Alex in here because he's previously threatened his life. And I said, no, he didn't. Then they went on to say, besides, she already has a support system. She has her family and her brothers here, and he's fine to be here. But Alex, no, we're gonna have to ask him to leave. And I said, listen, one thing that's being established in this trial is Diddy is diabolical. Diddy is maniacal and his need for control. So for instance, when Philip, that's who testimony in today, Cassie's, but they were friends too. They had a relationship. When I say relationship, maybe not, not romantic, but he definitely cared about her, right? He got up to leave, and this boy is like swole, like he looked like The Rock walking by. Again, dark skin. They said Diddy liked to see those white fingernails wrapped around that BBC, right? So anyway, when he did that and he got off the witness stand and was walking out, Diddy for no reason stood up and just looked at him as he went out. Boy, you are in federal detention. What are you running? Who are you running? I don't know what lullabies those roaches and rats are whispering in your ear, but you need to stop. It was actually really, really ridiculous. So anyway, I gotta go in a second, but let me finish the story. So anyway, the prosecution jumped up and was like, no, first of all, when we talk to her, we're talking about things prior to 2018 to which Alex wasn't a part of. So how can you invoke this rule? On top of that, basically, I'm paraphrasing, who are you to tell her who her support system can be? And it's sick to me that Diddy's such a control freak that he wanted to try to get Alex out of there. So when Cassie waddled in, she looked absolutely gorgeous. She was wearing a long, a maxi turtleneck dress. She's the prettiest pregnant woman. I mean, all pregnant women are beautiful. I love seeing pregnant women, but she looked really, really gorgeous, right? Also, don't listen to anybody talking about Diddy looks gaunt. Diddy looks better now than he ever did with Young Miami. He looks like he's been getting sleep. Because when he was in Young Miami, he just looked like he was on no-dose, and that Tucci had him up doing the Harlem Shake at like 8 in the morning. And he hadn't been to bed since Hannah had puppies 3 days ago. Anyway, the prosecution was like, no. Like, why can't her husband be here? Like, are you serious? And they're like, my client. Anyway, get this. The judge was like, well, because the defendant can actually exclude people from court. And it's crazy to me that Diddy literally tried to exclude Alex from court. Okay. So all that happened, right? And so all that happened. And then what happened after that? So anyway, the judge was like, well, it's their call. So then Mark Agnifilio, he saw me today and went, He gave me like a little screw face, a professional screw face, but I guess he heard the fact that I said his new haircut makes him look like Chicken Little, right? So anyway, Mark Agnafiliana, they all like convened and they were all talking. And then they were like, you know what? And I said, yo, it's all about power and control. They were like, you know what? He can stay for now. But when it comes to anything about 2018, then he's gonna have to leave. And Diddy sat there just looking smug. And I said, this man just won't leave Cassie alone. Anyway, Alex was there while Cassie was testifying, and he was turning red with like rage, emotion, not tears. Rage, emotion. He looked, but I can understand, right? The woman you love, the mother of your children, while she is carrying your child, is recounting how this monster literally actually did you in. All right, Cassie's brother was there. Cassie's brother, handsome, just like Cassie's beautiful. So you know the weirdest thing is, let me tell you something. Anything the Combs do is all fanfare. Remember yesterday it was like, oh my God, Diddy's daughters left the trial 2 times. Left the trial 2 times while the sex worker was testifying. And I said, okay, maybe. But then you actually got Cassie up there and they're showing the video and she's testifying to the way, and they was all sitting there. One of the twins was trying to look over so they could all look Cassie in her face. They were all sitting there looking Cassie in her face. And I'm like, so you got to leave about the sex workers, but hearing your dad drop kick someone and seeing the person pregnant, you're fine with that? And it just made me look at that family and be like, yo, what do you guys really value? I will also say this. When I was sitting there and Cassie was, and people were talking, and even the sex worker, when he was talking about the violence he saw and the way it shattered him, I was like, yo, hold on, y'all. I was like, no, I thought somebody sent me a super chat, but
No, that's super wild. That's super wild. Now we're gonna go to the next part where she actually gave us an update when she went back inside the courtroom. Did he try and get her dude kicked out and all that stuff? It does seem like a lot of control issues and all that, but it's also really weird with Diddy. The simple fact that he stood up and grilled Bull on the way, bro. You in the feds right now fighting a Rico. You need to be. I mean, it's Diddy, man. I don't know what's wrong with old head. But we're going to go to her next live. Let me see what else she got. She had another live when she went back in. And now she really tells us more. But I wanted y'all to hear that part where he was trying to get her dude kicked out of the courtroom, which I thought was kind of crazy.
from court. The rain is pouring down. It is a beautiful, great day in New York City. But guess what? It's also a great day for the prosecution. Now listen, y'all know I am Team Cassie all day, every day. But this was not a good day for the prosecution. It's not that Cassie didn't have a story to tell. It's not that she wasn't a good witness. It's the fact that it wasn't Maureen Comey. Maureen Comey is the lead prosecutor. She is a beast. It's the fact that this other girl that they have questioning Cassie, yeah, it's not giving. She is getting so bogged down in the minutia, okay? She is getting so bogged down on, I'm trying to see, can I go stand over there? Let's go see before security tell me to move. They are getting so bogged down on the minutia. They are getting so bogged down on, so who bought the baby oil? Who bought the Astroglide? Who bought this? It doesn't matter. When I tell you this girl's voice was like a lullaby, again, they need to go in. Take us to the horror. Take us to the drama. They even spent 30 minutes talking about how Cassie didn't have comfortable, like Diddy kept calling her predictable, and Cassie didn't feel comfortable in the freakouts, but she never clearly said she didn't say no. It's not because she didn't say no, it's because the prosecution is not asking the right questions. So it literally is, you could even look at the jury and see that it was losing the jury. What is so hard? We have a video of her being dragged. We have a video of horrible things happening. Cassie literally almost drowned in a sea of urine.
Yeah, and the wild part is, from what I'm hearing, the prosecution is messing this up. And it's actually looking like Diddy has a chance of winning this case, y'all. Let's get back into it.
When Diddy and the Mex worker, what's up, T. Herbert? Thank you for the super chat. When Diddy and the Smex worker literally went in and she literally felt like she was drowning. Which, by the way, when I heard that, I said, remember when Young Miami was like, oh, I love being like golden showers, and then she walked it back and was like, I mean that. No, Diddy has a big fetish for that. He literally almost tried. Listen, I don't know if Young Miami was doing it, because Cassie said that it was about 6 months to a year in where they had 6 months, no, about 6 months to a year into the relationship, definitely a year, that's when Diddy brought up the idea of voyeurism, right? And he's like, oh, I've always had this fantasy, this and that. And then she finally agreed to it because she was like, yo, I don't want to lose him. And I think I got to do this to keep him happy. And she said after that happened, Diddy was like, welcome to the freak show. Because she was having him like every week. After that, he was like, again, again, again. My whole point in the matter is this prosecutor, she's a blonde hair woman. They need to sit her down and put Maureen Comey back on. Because when I tell you, how do you take a heavily pregnant, beautiful witness and you literally, so it's called laying foundation. You just can't go in and be like, tell us how Diddy was a monster. No, you need to lay foundation. You need to say, okay, where were you? Who were you around? How do you know this to be true? That's called laying foundation. The only thing is when you are a skilled prosecutor, and I think this girl like might be new, when you are let me step out the way before, if y'all see me run, you know security's gonna come and tell me to move off the steps. But when you are a skilled prosecutor, it is very easy for you to lay foundation in a way that is very, very like entertaining to the jury. And I hate to use the word entertaining, but when it comes to the jury, you have to keep the jury riveted. If the jury is not riveted, then what are you doing? If the jury looks like they're about to fall asleep and you're trying to get somebody for sex trafficking and abuse and all that stuff, then you need to ask yourself, what are you really doing? They need to sit that prosecutor down. This was not a good day for the prosecution, but I'll go over that in detail live because I got my book of shadows right here. Let's talk about the real thing that I thought was so surprising. Mark Agnifilo was out there gangbanging, windmilling to keep Cassie's video down. So basically, they have videos of the freak-offs, okay? Now, I was actually talking to the two lawyers that were representing the press and the public. They believe that because this is high interest, it's high stakes, this and that, anybody in the courtroom should be able to see the tape. They said at the very least, even if you can't see the tape, they believe that there should be somebody from the certified press pool, legacy media, Washington Post, CNN, New York Times, like legacy, like supposed to be serious media, right? So that was that. And I was like, okay. And here's the thing. The judge said that there is a heavy First Amendment consideration because you can't see cameras in the courtroom. You can't have cameras in the courtroom. There is a heavy First Amendment administration. My brain's fried. Hold on, let me say, thank you so much, Connie Cruz, for becoming a member of the Tattletales. Y'all, I'm out here trying to recover my costs for this trip. So if y'all could show some love, I would appreciate it. If y'all see me looking to the left, I don't think I'm supposed to be filming right here, but nobody ever told me I actually couldn't. So, I'm just gonna, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So anyway, right? When there's a First Amendment, it means that the public has
Be careful with that. That's how Diddy think.
a right to know. It means that because we have a vested interest. Oh my God, Don Hell, thank you so much. Don Hell just sent me a cash app for coffee break after the court work, and you sent me enough for a frappuccino. Is the public has a right to know. You can't do anything behind closed doors because at the end of the day, the prosecution is representing us. So since they're representing us, we should have a right to know. So anyway, they're like, listen, if the people in the court can't see it, and I was going to give you playback. If the people in the court can't see it, play it, then we should actually just have a press pool and then they can describe it. Mark Agnifilo gets up and he was like, for what? For what? Yana, for what? What exactly are they going to do with this? This is hardcore explicit material. Thank you, Rachel Gole. Thank you, Miss Gole. And C. Herbert, thank you for becoming a member of the Tattletale family. I appreciate y'all. And Rachel, thank you for the super chat. So he's like, Yana, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with this, Your Honor? Like, what is explicit material, Your Honor? And it was a good point. But then I was sitting next to Robert. I was sitting next to the lawyer. Girl, your girl's in the mix. I was sitting next to the lawyers that the press sent in to represent them. They jumped up, and the judge was like, well, if anybody has any objections, and they jumped up. I do, Your Honor. They were in the gallery with us. And he's like, all right, come on, approach the court. So he went into the court, went to the pulpit, where the prosecutors speak, and he's like, Your Honor, no, what do you mean? What are we going to do with it? That's not the way things work. We, as members of the press and the public, you don't need to worry about what we're going to do with the information. We just need the information, and we have a right to the information. So what is the big deal? And again, that's a good point too, and especially because I wanted to see it. So I was like, yeah, Robert, eat it all up. So they was like, you don't need to worry about what we need it for, okay? Thank you, Drenched Beauty, for the super chat. They're like, you don't need to know what we need this for. It's public information, and we should be allowed to see it in court. You already don't have any cameras. Y'all gonna have to stop playing. So the judge actually said, you know what? When you put it like that, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, I'm inclined to rule that either the people in the courtroom, hey, can view the tape, right? The prosecution was like, well, Your Honor, we only have like 6 still images. And later on, not with Cassie, but with other people, we might show a little bit of the video. But for right now, we just have 6 images. So still shots, screenshots from the video. So if you don't want to show anybody that, then you don't have to, right? If that's fine, right? It's up to you. So the judge was like, well, hold on. I'm really, really inclined to go with the First Amendment because I do think the public has the right to know. And I think the press should actually see it. So now the shocking thing is Cassie's in agreement with Diddy about this. Cassie's lawyer just put a motion saying that they don't want those tapes shown. And now here's the thing. And let me be honest with you. I get it. And this is how it ties in to what the prosecutors are doing today. Let me just say this. I get it. This is some of the most heartbreaking, humiliating times of Cassie's life. You know, I, again, was right there with y'all. Southern Girl. Oh, thanks for the hard work. You're welcome, Southern Girl. Thank you.
I understand her not wanting the tapes to be shown, but when you take this route and you agree to go this route, you got to go all the way, Cassie. There's no half-stepping. I think Diddy is a monster, but there's no half-stepping at this point. You got to be willing to go all the way.
For the super chat. Thank y'all for helping me earn my travel expenses back. I appreciate it. Nessa, oh my God. Thank you so much for say about this. I get it because I, along with y'all, making jokes about baby oil, making jokes because maybe that's what I do. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and cry at a funeral. I gotta do something to lighten the mood because you need humor to get through. What's up, Mel? Mel NYC Review said that lawyer fighting for the right to be nosy. Yes, yes. I emailed you this morning. Keep up the good work. As soon as I get home, I'll check all my emails, but I haven't been able to get on my phones. I'm actually sneaking out to do this. But here's the thing. I get it. It is one of the most humiliating things that ever happened to Cassie. I get she feels bad about it. I get all that stuff happened. But I also need to get this, right? Oops. I also need for Cassie to understand this. And this ain't no shade to her, but like it is bigger than you right now. The prosecution is doing a horrible effing job right now. Kay, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. Cheryl Watts, thank you for the super chat. I'll read some questions real quick. Kathy Mabin, thank you so much for the super chat. Kim Will, let me just say this, right? I get the fact that Cassie is like, I don't want to see that. It's humiliating. But at this point, I do not believe that Cassie's testimony, and this is because of the prosecutor, not because Cassie's not a good witness, and I don't believe the prosecutor's right of question has proven anything beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's what I've been hearing, y'all. I've been hearing from more than one source that the prosecution is messing this up. That they looking over at the jury and the jury's not looking too stunned. They're just messing up a lot of stuff in this case.
They lost the jurors today because the prosecution, this blonde-headed girl, was so big on establishing the minutia, where they were sitting, what they bought, how they did it, and then repeating everything like, oh, so, I felt like it was that little meme. I put the packet on the glass. What glass? The door in the microwave. I shut the door. What door? That door in the microwave. Are you listening? MK said, thank you for the hard work and the notes. Oh, you're welcome. Listen, when I get completely done, I'm going to do a mega live. The prosecution isn't doing a good job right now. The blonde-headed, not Maureen Comey, but the blonde-headed girl, this was the most boring, meandering. We got lost in so much minutia. We literally forgot about the horror. And I've been covering the horror for 2 years. I literally felt like dozing off. It was a little bit ridiculous. And it really made me worried about Diddy might beat these charges. He might beat these charges because of prosecution today. And maybe they're establishing it and they'll come back with a bang tomorrow. Thank you so much for the super chat. Maybe they're establishing things and they'll come back with a bang tomorrow. But right now, it was so boring and so meandering that I feel like everybody got lost in the detail and it took away the horror. So it really did look like they weren't even asking any follow-up questions. Cassie kept saying that Diddy kept saying whenever she said, I don't think I want to do a freak off. He was like, oh, you're so predictable. Now, clearly, anybody who's ever dealt with people that deal with DV and mental abuse, you know that word predictable is a loaded answer. And you know that you should actually be like, but when he said predictable, what did he mean by that? How did that make you feel? And what term? Like, explain how that was mental abuse. Like, get up there and do your job for you. Then they were saying stuff like, she literally told us that Diddy, for some, I think it was at the Intercontinental New York City, had a pool full of baby oil. And what made Cassie and the guy do it, he would get a pool full of baby oil. Cassie would be so scared because she could have literally drowned or got baby oil in her lungs, and that would have been it. He would have like 20 diptyque candles right? He would have candle lights, and then pretty soon it moved to like the red studio lights he uses in Love Studio, right? He would do all that stuff. Oh, Savant Audio, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate y'all. And Marco Ramsey said, hi, Panama. Great.
She said Diddy would have a pool full of baby oil. A pool full of what kind of? This isn't like it's always. It can't be nothing not insane with this dude, man.
Job. Thank you so much, Marco. I appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all for helping me earn my costs back. Should I dance for some money? Okay, let me stop doing a good job today. And Sonia Martinez, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't think the prosecution is doing that good a job. I think if they continue on, there is going to be curtains for this. There is a real chance that they keep this up, that Diddy actually might deliver the charges, because at the end of the day, what's up, B? Thank you so much for joining. At the end of the day, it's up to them to prove this case. And they are literally like forgetting the forest for the trees. Like they're so concerned with the leaves on the trees that they are forgetting that we are in a forest. No, tell us we're in a forest. And then you can explain that there's an oak tree, there's a birch tree, there's a pine tree, there's a spruce tree. But you literally lead us in and I'm like, where am I? And they're like, look at this fauna, look at this leaf. This is, and you're just like, I don't really care. Carolyn Castle said, is Diddy actually emphasizing his body movement or language? I'll tell you one thing, Diddy is sitting there mean mugging everyone. I'll tell you another thing too. Diddy tried to get Cassie's husband kicked out of court earlier, saying he had threatened him. So he had threatened him. So
we heard
he
about
doesn't
that
want,
already.
because how much she loved Diddy. She's just describing how she would have done anything to keep his love. Describing Diddy is enjoying the Cassie mess a little bit too much. Cassie is describing how much she loved Diddy. She's just describing how she would have done anything to keep his
He's
love.
a control
you know, Mindy A said, girl, you better shake it. You got a Chrysler ad anywhere. Janetta Anderson, thank you so much for the super chat. Dr. Ward, thank you so much for the super chat. And Mrs. Ducho, thank you so much for the super chat, right? Oh, that's your first super chat in the super chat, right? And Cassie isn't a believable witness. She 100% is. I'm saying the press. Hey, are you leaving for the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
It was good.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
Working hard for us as usual. Thank you. No, like coming when a Capricorn says that ace it, not a oil, y'all, a pool full of baby oil. So getting back to what I was saying, Cassie is a very reliable witness. Ain't shit changed in a story. I'm not saying. I'm saying that. The prosecution is almost like when someone's like, whoa, 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 tell me the story of what happened. You have to tell it in a way so that the jurors clearly understand the horror.
Yeah, because you got to tell the story in a way where this isn't just a domestic violence case. You got to prove that this is a RICO case. Right now, it sounds like domestic violence. And he's a very freaky individual.
I put everything on reverse, backward, slow-mo speed. Any story is going to look or feel like super, super boring. So again, prosecutors, that blonde girl, they need to put Maureen Comey back on there. Southern Girl 777 said, hopefully the prosecution is warming up. Girl, you and me are praying. Kate said, I hope this gets you a New York coffee. Oh, thank you, Kate. The parties were, hey.
.com. That's right. Bring the gun in the club.
All right, so we're going to leave it at that. But yeah, so Diddy on day 2, he tried to get Cassie's husband kicked out of the courtroom. All right, like I said, it's a lot of control freak stuff with him. He also had Cassie on the stand, but it sounds like the prosecution is wetting the bed. It sounds like the prosecution is worried about all the wrong stuff. And she's not the first person who told me it's looking like the prosecution is losing the jury. Diddy wins day 2. We'll see on day 3 if the prosecution can regroup. We still got I think the head security. They still have to examine him. And I think they still have to show some more tapes. We'll see where that goes. But it's looking like Diddy won day 2. Because in a RICO case, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. If there's any reasonable doubt that this isn't a RICO case, it's more of a domestic violence case, Diddy's going to end up skating free. All right, so it's up to the prosecution to get on their job and, figure this out. We'll see where it goes. We're going to stay up to date on this. It's your boy, What's Up, G. Don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about the Diddy trial. Diddy been wilding out here in these streets. It's still wild stuff. It's still wild stuff. Even that guy, I was looking up something else. Remember that guy who came out and he broke into a Trump hotel, I believe. And then when he got arrested, he had said that he was actually one of Diddy's ex-workers. Diddy had found him and paid him $5 million and made him sign an NDA that he would never talk about that. But remember when he came out, everybody thought he was crazy. He wasn't crazy. I'll bring it up real quick. Man who broke into Trump. I'm gonna put Diddy at the end. It should pop up. Or not, because there's so much Diddy stuff. But yeah, this was like 8 or 9 years ago, bro.
Joe Rogan just had Elon Musk.
Yeah, it was a guy who broke into the Trump Tower. Let me see. I can't find it. But he broke into the Trump Tower, and then when they took him back to interrogate him, he just said that he was one of Diddy's ex-workers. Come to find out, that guy was telling the truth. And not only that, Diddy had then relocated him and made him sign an NDA saying that he wouldn't speak about it. So people have been saying what Diddy's been doing. It's just nobody believed it. It was so insane. Nobody would believe it. All right, so it's your boy, What's Up? You don't forget to drop a like on this, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all today, I love y'all. Let's try to get at least 100 likes on this. All right, I'm out, y'all.